Hello children, welcome to aimstoday's online classes. In today's class, from physics subject, friction topic we are going to discuss. So in our previous video, already we have discussed some questions children. Let's continue from that. Now 31st question. 31st question. When a coin and a feather are dropped simultaneously from the same height, the coin strikes the ground first. Means when we drop a feather and a coin from the same height, the coin will reach the ground first compared to feather. So why? What is the reason? What is the reason? So gravitational force is less in the case of coin. Wrong. Mass of coin is less. Wrong. So frictional force is less in the case of coin. This correct children. Why? Because this feather, the area of contact between the feather and air is more compared to the area of contact between the coin and air. So because of more area on the feather, more friction will be applied. On the coin, less friction will be applied. Because of that, it will reach the ground first. So frictional force is less in the case of coin. Why? Because area of contact with air is less. So that's why it reaches the ground first. So C option is correct. So why do the soles of our shoes easily wear out? Easily wear out. So why? Because due to friction. Because the shoe will be in continuous contact with the surface. Because of that, the spikes which are on the bottom surface of the shoe, they will wear out. Even bottom part of the shoe also wear out. So if we continues to use the same, we will lose the grip. We cannot walk properly with the shoes, or we cannot run properly with the shoes on the ground. So this is the disadvantage of friction. So answer due to friction. So next, Harish rolled a small steel ball at one edge of the glass bowl as shown below. So this is the bowl. So P R Q, this is the bowl. From the point P, he is rolling the ball. From point P, he is rolling the ball. It is going in this direction. Now the question is, if there is no friction, between the ball and between the surface of the bowl, what will happen to the ball? So if there is friction, what happens? This ball will roll longer distance, distance will be decreasing. Finally, it will stop at Q. It happens because of friction. But if there is no friction, it will be continuously moving between P and Q without coming to rest. So the ball will roll out of the glass bowl. They are telling. Wrong. It will stop at center R. Wrong. It will keep moving between points P and Q and will never stop. Correct. If there is no friction, it will never stop. So answer C option. So when does a body have zero force of friction? Zero force of friction means when no force is applied on a body at rest, because there is no force, there is no movement between the surfaces, so no friction. If we apply force to move it, so then only static friction will be developed. So answer A. 35. A look at the figure given below. So which of the following forces is necessary for a person to climb the mountain? To climb the mountain. The person is climbing the mountain with the help of rope. With the help of rope, he is holding that rope and he is holding this hook type structure. Because of that, he is and with the help of these two, he is climbing the mountain. So, which force is necessary for a person to climb the mountain? Gravitational force pull it down. No electric force, no charges are involved here. No magnetic force is involved here. Frictional force. Yes, frictional force is the correct answer. So, because of frictional force, he gets a good grip while holding the rope, while holding the hook. He will get a grip so that he cannot fall down and he can climb easily. Next, observe the figure given below. So this is a pushing force, this is a direction of motion, this is a force of friction. Because pushing force, we are pushing rightward, so direction of motion is towards right side, and friction between the surfaces will be in opposite direction to the motion. In opposite direction to the motion. So X represents motion, Y represents friction. X motion, Y weight, wrong. X motion, Y friction, correct. X friction, Y weight, wrong. X weight, Y motion, wrong. So B option is correct. 37. When the applied force is doubled and still the object is at rest, then friction becomes. When the applied force is doubled and still the object is at rest, then friction becomes. So, as long as the object is at rest, whatever applied force we have applied, the total applied force will be turned into static frictional force. If we double the applied force, static friction will double. If we halve the applied force, static friction will be getting half. So as long as it is at rest, because static friction force is self-adjusting force. Self-adjusting force. It itself gets adjusted to the applied force. So answer, friction becomes doubled. Next one. A person is moving on a rough horizontal surface towards east. The direction of motion is towards east. Then the direction of friction will be towards west, because it always opposes the motion. So answer A. So which one of the following does not help to reduce friction? So grease, it's a lubricant, it reduces friction. Soapy water reduces friction. Oil reduces friction. Sand, it does not reduce the friction. It will increase the friction because its surface will be rough compared to remaining three. So answer, sand does not help in reduce the friction. D option is the right answer. Next. Anup and Sohail, while studying about friction, so decided to perform an experiment. So the two friends, Anup and Sohail, decided to perform an experiment. They placed equal masses of an ice block, and sandpaper on an inclined plastic tray. This is the plastic tray. This is the inclined plane. On an inclined plane, on the plastic tray, they have taken same amount of ice block, same masses of ice block and sandpaper. As shown below, they have taken all. What happens when both the blocks start moving? When both the blocks start moving, because here ice will produce less friction compared to the sandpaper. So ice will reaches to the bottom of the inclined plane first. So ice blocks reaches the bottom of the tray first. So option A is correct. So which of the following shows that friction exists between the two bodies? So when the movement is decreased or prevented, yes. Why the movement is decreased or why the movement is prevented, stopped? Because of friction. This is the indication of friction. When there is constant movement, no. When electromagnetic, no. When there is constant, no. Option A is correct. So select the correct statement. Limiting friction is the minimum value of static friction. Wrong. Rolling friction more than sliding friction. Wrong. Static friction is a self-adjusting force. Correct. Limiting friction is maximum value, not minimum value. So answer, according to options, C option is the correct answer. C option is the correct answer. Next, for third, an experiment was conducted to find the amount of force needed to move a 100 grams load over different surfaces. So which one of the following scales would show the smallest reading? So wood, 100 grams of wood, 100 grams of concrete, 100 grams of wood, 100 grams of metal, 100 grams of glass. We are pulling them with the help of spring balance, and spring balance. In which case, smallest reading we can observe. So the pulling force, the applied force to drag it depends on the friction between the glass surface and the bottom surface. Friction will be less. So in the case of D option, we can observe less reading in the spring balance because of less friction, less force we have to apply. So option D is correct. Next one. In which of the following does friction play a helpful role? Striking a matchstick, playing snooker, writing on the blackboard. The striking on matchstick, because of friction only, it will get heated and it will burn. Matchstick will burn. So it plays a helpful role here. Playing snooker. When we hit the ball, when there is no friction, ball will move continuously. But we have to balance in such a way that it will go and hit the other ball and it will go to the hole. So while playing snooker game or caroms game, balancing is very important. That balancing will be done by the friction. So answer, in this also it is helpful. Writing on blackboard. While writing on blackboard, chalk piece gets stick to the blackboard. So it is also helpful. So all three, 1 to 3. So D option, 1 to 3. Next, to avoid slipping while walking on ice, one should take smaller steps, because if we take smaller steps, if you take smaller steps, you might have observed in your house also, when it is wet, when the floor is wet, you try to walk with small steps to avoid slipping. Why? Means when you take small steps, total your weight will be concentrated at one point, and more you can press the earth with more force. Because of that, earth will show more normal reaction on you. If you take longer steps, what happens? The At this place, these two are different. This weight is this with only one leg you are pressing the land. So here only normal reaction, or because of only one leg, will be created. Here normal reaction will be less compared to this. So because of steps, if you take steps close together, so more normal reaction will be created. Because of more normal reaction, more friction will be created. And you cannot slip down. So answer of larger normal reaction. Because of larger normal reaction, you will take smaller steps. Frictional force of ice is large, wrong. Frictional force of ice is small. That you may take longer steps, smaller steps. It doesn't matter. Frictional force of ice is always smaller. That is not the reason. So why you take smaller steps? To increase larger normal reaction, so that increase the friction. Next. So frictional force exists in which of the following cases? Exists only for moving bodies? No. Exists only bodies which are rest? Wrong. Exists for both moving and non-moving bodies. If the body is at rest, if we apply force, so then also friction will be created as a static frictional force. So answer option C. Next, level 2 question, children. The deep grooves in the tides of tractor increases the friction. Like spikes on shoes increases the friction. So we need energy to overcome friction. During friction, unwanted heat energy is produced. Friction can be reduced by the use of rollers, gates, wrong. Gates, with the help of small wheel, we have to run big wheel. For that purpose, we make use of gates, not for reducing friction. Lubricants, yes. Ball bearings, yes. So answer 134. Option B. Next one. So Ram pushes the box by applying a force of 500 newtons in the horizontal direction, so that the box slides along the floor as shown in the figure. So find the point where the frictional force acting on the box is maximum. So Ram is pushing the block. This is point P. This is rough floor. This is polished floor. This is point Q. This is point R. Point P is on the rough floor. Point Q is on polished floor. R is on the side part of block. Now the question is, so at which frictional force will be maximum? So here at P point, because P point is on the rough surface, so at P point frictional force will be maximum. Q point is not connected to surface, so we cannot. There will be no contact between the surfaces, no friction. If it comes to Q, because of polished surface, less friction will be there. So answer P option. Next, the two common forces that are acting everywhere around us are. Everywhere around us, gravity and friction will be acting everywhere around us. Next one. It is easier to pull a lawn roller than to push it because actually it decreases the effective weight, children. So pulling decreases the normal reaction. Pulling decreases the normal reaction because the movement of roller is in forward direction. We are pulling it. We are pulling it in the forward direction. The normal reaction will reduce. Because of less normal reaction, less friction will be created and it will be easy to pull. Next one. So when friction is acting in the direction of P, in which direction do you think force is applied? As friction is acting in the direction of P, friction is acting in the direction of P. So here force will be acted in opposite direction. Force will be acted in opposite direction. Friction P is like that. Then force will be applied in opposite direction means R. Next one. Which of the following are advantages of friction? Soles of shoes become worn out, this disadvantage. Old man walking on footpath because of friction. Car slows down when brakes are applied because of friction. These two are advantages. 2 and 3. So answer option C. So when a body is moving on a surface, the force of friction is called. When it is moving, it is called dynamic or kinetic friction. Dynamic or kinetic friction or sliding friction. So answer dynamic. A cube was placed on a ramp as shown below. So a cube was placed on ramp as shown below. The box remains on the ramp and does not slide down. This is because this is why this is not sliding down, why it is like that only means we have just now learned everywhere in the universe. So gravity and friction will be working. So here the box is too heavy to slide down, wrong. The box does not have enough energy to slide down, wrong. The force of gravity cannot act on the box while it stands at the top of ramp, wrong. The pull of gravity cannot overcome force of friction acting between the box and ramp. So this is the ramp, children. This is the box. So why the box is not sliding down means the force of gravity acting on the ramp is less than the force of friction. It is not able to, gravity is not able to overcome friction. So that's why it is not falling down. So option D is correct. So okay, children. So all questions we have completed. So thank you for watching our video. So please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates. You can also visit our website, children, www.aimstoday.in, for other information regarding online classes, quizzes, live worksheets, activities, English classes, coding classes. Thank you, children. Have a good day.